Well, the Senate's actions yesterday flamed the fires on both sides of the charter school debate. Among the most upset with Democratic leaders is my next guest. Dick Iannuzzi is the president of the New York State United Teachers, or NYSUT, and he joins us in the studio tonight. Dick, how are you?
I'm doing great, Liz. Thank you.
We should say, just in case anyone doesn't know, NYSUT is a union that represents teachers. How many members do you have?
You have 600,000 members. We represent teachers, some healthcare people, support personnel, and some in public service, K through postgraduate, as we like to say.
So this situation, the passage of the bill yesterday, which was a 45-15 vote in the Senate, it was a one-house bill. Have you gotten assurances from the Assembly that this will not pass?
Well, we have confidence in the sense that the Assembly understands the principles that they should be standing by, and obviously, as long as they hold to those principles, we will feel confident that the right thing will be done, something that will be done in the interest of education and kids instead of the kinds of pressure that the Senate obviously felt itself under.
So what pressure was that you're alluding to? I know that you and I have spoken prior to this about that. You believe, and the unions believe, and also UFT, which is the New York City-based teachers union, a member of yours, right?
Our members, yep.
Believe that this was politically motivated.
Well, it's very hard not to argue that it's politically motivated. When I look down at the record here, something that was introduced on Friday and passed on Monday, something pretty novel for New York State Legislature. The fact that there frankly was another bill that people really were lining up behind in January, and this is a very different bill, leaves a lot of concern. But most of those concerns are about the fact that this bill doesn't go far enough to do the things that we would all want to see happen, so we could move beyond the concept of battling over charter schools and begin to talk about what's needed. But
your feeling was, or the union's feeling was, that that the Senate has been under pressure in a difficult election year from the pro-charter movement, if you will, that has been spending a lot of money on TV ads and radio ads and blaming you guys and UFT specifically also for blocking the last time that the legislature tried to lift the cap, which is supposed to be helpful for Race to the Top funding, which is a federal education funding program, and the state finished second to last, although it did qualify for the first round of application, and then in the end did not make it the cut. Are
Sure.
you so? Is that what you believe? You believe that this was a response to try and mollify the pro-charter movement?
Well, I think it was a response to pressure from the pro-charter movement. I don't think it really deals with Race to the Top, because when we talk about, we often talk about NYSUT coming in next, New York State coming in next to last. The reality is New York State came in 15th, was one of only 16 finalists out of 40 applicants, and had a very strong application. That application failed in a variety of ways, charters being not one of the more significant ones.
So is your union opposed to lifting the charter cap?
Our union is not opposed to lifting the charter cap if that charter cap is lifted within a sensible set of reforms. We have a law that's 10 years old that needs a lot more accountability, a lot more transparency, has to address the oversaturation that cities like Albany and Buffalo have to deal with, and it has to deal with the funding stream. There simply is too great a negative impact on feeding school districts, and those districts still have to educate the children that remain behind. This should be about educating all of the children in New York State and not special treatment for 2 or 3% of them.
So assuming that this particular bill that was passed yesterday does not go forward, some bill might before the next round of Race to the Top deadline, the next deadline, which is June 1st. Let's assume that this particular bill, because the Assembly has been pretty closely allied with NYSUT, does not go forward. There was nevertheless talk by your union and also UFT of retaliation, or at least there's going to be some kind of price to pay. What does that mean, politically speaking?
Well, politically speaking, I don't know whether we call it a price to pay, but obviously it's going to be something that when we do endorsements, our members simply, and our leaders, when they make their decisions, need to look at the total voting record. And so people will look at this vote and wonder whether those who voted for this really understood the kinds of problems that have to be addressed with respect to charter schools before we could turn the page and move forward.
And can that actually really make a difference, do you think, in the battle for the Senate, for example? I mean, 45-15 means that a lot of those votes came from Republicans. Has NYSET, I can't recall, in 2008, did NYSET mostly do Democrats? NYSET
did more Democrats than Republicans, but on Long Island we did almost all Republicans, and in some parts of the state, several Republicans. So NYSET, looks at your record. And when we look at records, these votes are going to be part of the record. But, the goal is never to make one vote the deciding factor. It's a total record. This will weigh heavily. But more important is that we need to move on. We need to look for that piece of legislation. And there was one that Senator Sampson and Speaker Silver were behind back in January, and with a few amendments and a few fixes, could very well be the kind of bill that everybody could get behind, that could raise the cap, that could go a long way to helping the race to the top application, and could get us in the right place. We need to turn the page and get there.
Will there be one, do you think, before the June 1st deadline? Will there be some kind of charter school cap lifting agreement?
Well, there are two things going on at the moment. One is that NYSET is working with all of the other stakeholders, with the State Education Department, to try to figure out what a race to the top application could look like that would also address the best possible educational experience to be offered in New York State. That is happening at the same time the legislature is looking at a cap. And let's not call it a cap, looking at charter school reform. And if we can come up with a charter school reform bill that fits into that larger picture, then I think we'll do great things for all the children in New York State.
UFT this morning launched a radio campaign that pushed back against the pro-charter campaign that has been on the air for some time now. Will you also be joining that fray?
Well, the pro-charter people have put millions of dollars into television, radio, and print ads, and we will probably run some radio ads in some cities in New York State that are most damaged by charter schools in their current form, just to give some support to those in those areas who feel that they're unfairly being beaten down by these types of ads.
And do you think everybody's going to take a cooling off period now, or the next round of negotiations on this will pick up when? We're turning the page, as you say.
Well, I would hope that the next rounds of negotiations are already underway. We are certainly,
Are they? I mean, you are a stakeholder.
They are. We are today. We are talking with leaders in the Assembly about how could we move to the next page. I have reached out to almost every senator who voted against the bill and thanked them for their work and asked them to work with us to come up with something that could pass both houses that could move us along, because that's what we need to do.
Senator Sampson, have you spoken to him yet?
I have not spoken to Senator Sampson, but tomorrow evening Senator Sampson is going to be honored by the NAACP in Brooklyn, and I've had my ticket to that event for 6 months, and I have no reason not to be there.
Oh, you should let us know how that goes. Thank you very much.
I'm sure it will go well.
I appreciate that. Thanks for coming in, Dick.
You're very welcome.
It's
great to see you again, Liz. Thank you.